Shout out to this fan for coming up with the idea to this video. If you have any cool ideas for a future video, let me know in the comments below. I may just give you a shout out. What's up my net soldiers, I am the Net Alliance. Today we have the question, what if Darth Bane never instated the rule of two? The rule of two was instituted by Darth Bane, which is canon now, so this is relevant. You see, Bane was kind of tired of all the Sith kind of getting on each other and attacking each other because they never fully are able to continue what they want to do because they're all too busy killing each other. So essentially what Bane wanted to do was make a new rule, which was the rule of two, where there could only be two Sith. One master and one apprentice. No more, no less. One to embody power, the other to crave it. So the way he actually did this was he went around and just killed all the rest of the Sith to make sure he was the only one left. And from there on, that's what we see in the film saga. From episode 1 all the way to episode 6, because technically Kylo and Snoke aren't Sith, but you know, they're dark users, so they might be a different type of Sith. Who knows? We don't know yet. We'll probably figure that out in episode 8. So this rule of two was carried down for generations until eventually it fell into Plagueis and Palpatine. As we know, Plagueis was really strong and Palpatine wanted to kill him, so he did. And that's why we only ever see Palpatine and his apprentice. The Phantom Menace, it was Palpatine, who was the master, who embodied the power, and his apprentice, Darth Maul, who craved it. And then the same thing with Count Dooku, and then eventually Vader. And I realized we do see some Dark Force wielders that aren't actually Sith, kind of like Savage Opress and Asajj Ventress. Those two being the best examples. But they're not technically part of the rule of two because they're not actual Sith, so we'll just kind of take them out of this. So for many years, Palpatine's predecessors actually followed this rule, so Palpatine did the same. This is why we don't actually see armies of Sith in Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, all the rest of them. We only see two. This is exactly the reason why. So you can say Sidious really did hold true to that rule of two, because if you want your squad to get stuff done, you can't have everyone trying to kill each other. It just doesn't get you anywhere. Now with all that background, what if all that didn't exist? Let's say Bane was still there, and Bane was kind of like, you know what, this is annoying. Everyone's trying to kill each other. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna set the rule straight right now. And as soon as Bane went to go like walk down the stairs, he tripped and like broke his neck on the fall. Let's just throw that in there because why not? It's kind of comedic, so it works. Now, personally, when I got this theory and I actually thought about it a little bit, I realized, okay, well, the Sith are gone. Honestly, as much fighting as they were doing between themselves, they all wanted to flex their muscles at each other and challenge each other and kill each other. The problem was they weren't getting stuff done, and hence why the rule of two was created. So honestly, this theory could just end right here, and I could just say, look, all the Sith destroy each other, the Sith crumble, and eventually everyone's dead. And the Republic thrives and Sith never shows up and Palpatine never becomes a Sith, but then we wouldn't have a video. So let's just pretend that the Sith actually did thrive. Now another reason why the rule of two was actually instated was because the Sith were trying to sneak their way into the Republic and actually try to crumble it from the inside, hence why Palpatine did that later. The idea was less Sith the better, so kind of the master would be there and eventually the master would train the apprentice, and eventually the master would either die from the apprentice or just die from old age or whatever, and then the apprentice would then take on an apprentice and he'd then be the master. And this would go on for generations and generations until eventually Palpatine would rise to power and do essentially what Darth Bane wanted to do in the very first place, and why he instated the rule of two. So where exactly would the Sith be at this situation? Honestly, I think they'd be at the exact same place, kind of. I would compare the Sith of old, back when Darth Bane was around, to kind of being like savages, kind of like wild animals, right? Where I would consider these Sith to be more like a wolf pack. You know, the strongest would be the leader and everyone would just kind of follow him, and eventually another one would challenge that one and he'd get killed, and then that new one would be the alpha. You know how wolf packs work. That's kind of how I can see that kind of working, which is kind of a cool concept, honestly. I think that would be cool, so let's just go with that. So essentially the strongest Sith in this Sith pack is the Alpha and commands the Sith in the way they're supposed to be. And for this reason, I don't think the Sith would just hide in the shadows because there's not just two of them anymore. You know, there's no more real inside plotting with the Republic. It's honestly just a war. So I do think that we might actually see battles of Sith versus Jedi, but of course the Jedi would also be trained differently as well. One thing I always noticed was, if you think about before the Phantom Menace, they hadn't seen Sith for 1,000 years, or so they say. So from this, their lightsaber training might have taken a back seat because it's kind of different. Think about this in comparison. When you're just training to better yourself, compared to when you're training to actually try to survive out there, you're completely pushing yourself to the next level because you might actually die. Like before the Phantom Menace, the Jedi just kind of trained their lightsaber abilities and how to deflect blasters and all that type of stuff. They never really ever had to take on actual lightsaber users. And I'm not saying the Jedi never sparred, but I'm gonna guess they never actually want to kill each other while they're sparring. So when the Sith re-emerged, and they're just as capable as the Jedi, just more evil, I mean, think about it. The Jedi were just considered peacekeepers. They were kind of just the cops. The Jedi will have to tweak their ways and kind of become more militaristic. which they did, especially in the Clone Wars when the Jedi were actually put in the front lines as the generals, which would kind of make sense. I mean, if I was a clone and I was being led by a Jedi, you know, especially one like Mace Windu or Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'd be pumped. You know, I'd feel like I had so much morale I wouldn't have to worry. So I guess that was a smart move by the Republic. Now with this decision, the Sith would kind of be like in the Old Republic. They'd be an empire. They'd force people to work for them. I mean, they'd still pay people, but they'd also be like, hey, look, take the paycheck or die. That's kind of your choice. And if this was the case, I do think that most of the planets would actually linger towards the Republic and get Republic's help. So I do think in some way the Sith Empire would have to get reinforcements through droids. So let's just bring the droids in too, put them on the Empire side. Now, I don't know if there'd actually be a Palpatine, Darth Maul, because this would completely change the entire galaxy. Instead of having a galaxy of peace for thousands of years, this galaxy has been at war. The Sith Empire versus the Republic and the Jedi. They would just be clashing forever. And it would continue non-stop for a very, very, very long time. But remember, we have Sith that are very well trained. We have Jedi who have trained against fighting Sith for a very long time as well, which are different from our Jedi who haven't seen the Sith for a long time and had to quickly process that and learn how to do their stuff again and get ready for Sith battles. This Sith Empire is strong and rules with a mighty fist, and is also backed by the battle droids. The Republic has the majority of the planets, and everyone's kind of helping them to try to take down the Sith Empire because no one likes the Sith Empire. I don't even think the Sith Empire likes the Sith Empire, but the Sith like power, and they're gonna get it. So with the stage set, the galaxy at war, the battle lines drawn, I'm going to end this theory because honestly, I want to hear what you guys think is going to happen next. Will the Republic and Jedi succeed, or will the Sith win? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe if you guys enjoy my videos, and until next time guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.